Welcome back to the Deep Dig A Sports Pod. I'm your host, D, and today we are going to be discussing the action from week 11 of college football season. But before we dig into that, be sure to hit that like button, be sure to subscribe, drop some comments below, let me know your thoughts. Number 4, Miami takes on Georgia Tech in what many thought was a trap game because this Georgia Tech team has shown flashes. They've shown that they are very talented and they'll stick around and they'll play ball. And this Miami team, this is just kind of like I'm done. I'm so glad that Miami gets the loss in this. It ended up being 23-28. Georgia Tech takes it. I'm done with the charade of pretending like Miami is an elite team, is the actually fourth best team in the nation. It wasn't. I mean, we seen it. They had a great win the first week. And from there on out, they've just been riding it out. I mean, realistically, they've had close calls against Cal. They had against Virginia Tech. They had against Louisville, put up a bunch of points against them and they were in danger. Duke put up a bunch of points against them and they were in danger. I mean, realistically, this has been Miami the whole time. I mean, the only thing that really kind of kept them out of it is because they have a Heisman caliber quarterback that can put up points. But at certain times, and I said this last week, Miami just forgets how to play football on both sides of the ball for long stretches of time. It just happens. I mean, realistically, their defense hasn't shown anything all year. They just don't have a pulse. And offensively, Cam Ward and in this offense just forget how to play ball at long stretches of time. And I knew eventually it was going to catch up to him. I'm glad it did. I mean, realistically, it opens up this ACC, and now realistically, I think it's only a one team league or a one team conference that is actually going to get into the playoff. And I don't think that this Miami team is good enough to beat SMU if SMU continues to take care of business. So I'm excited for that because I was afraid that there was going to be two teams in the ACC that would go because Miami, if they went undefeated the rest of this way and played SMU and lost, you couldn't leave a highly ranked Miami team out of this college football playoff. But now I think you have no problem doing it. If they took this loss against Georgia Tech, that's going to knock them down a whole bunch. And then if they do lose in the conference championship to SMU, that's a SMU spot hands down. So yeah, I'm glad. I mean, realistically, too, I understand the point of view of at certain points, the defense has to do their due diligence. But in the end, Cam Ward, being as nonchalant as he is, being as lackadaisical at certain points, I'd seen last week he had a couple of highlight reels where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to spin out of this clean pocket. I'm going to just stand here and then I'll throw a pass and it ends up being a touchdown. And people were like, is this guy clip farming? He's clip farming at an ACC level. This is crazy. But it does seem like that. Like he just plays this style that is so nonchalant and it just came back to bite him in the ass this week. I mean, the strip sack to pretty much end the game is what did it. And yeah, I get that the defense needs to bail him out at certain points, but you knew that wasn't going to be the case. That hasn't been the case the entire year. You had to put on your big boy pants. You had to go out there and win the game again because this is the position that you guys have put yourself in and you just couldn't do it. And so I'm glad that we're getting those pretenders out. I'm glad we're moving on from it. And we'll see. I'm very interested to see how far in the rankings they do fall because this might just be who Miami is. Just a average team that struggled against average opponents and now gets a loss. And I don't think that I know afterwards Cam Ward was saying like, "Hey, I'm glad because we needed the adversity. Now this is going to turn it. We're going to flip a switch and we're going to move forward. We've been playing with fire." Why did it take a loss? I mean, realistically, you had so many times where you were in trouble. That should have turned on the switch. That should have made you play better, but it hasn't. I think that's just who Miami is this season. I think that they were one of the biggest pretenders in the entire nation, and I'm glad that they ended up getting a loss. And now we could have just one team from the ACC being represented because it is a down year for the ACC, and they don't really have a true national title contender. So they only deserve one spot. Let me know your thoughts. Go ahead and drop some comments. Be sure to subscribe and please hit like. All right. I'll see you next time. Later.